Hey there, parents. Welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me today. My name is Kathy, and I am here to do some parent coaching. And today we are talking about reducing conflict. Does that happen in your home? Anybody? Reducing conflict is what we need to focus on. So in order to reduce the stress and conflict in your home, I want to share with you 3 words that you will want to be familiar with so that you can focus on avoiding the conflict. Here are the 3 words: tasks, problems, and conflicts. So we want to look at what each of those means and look to see how we can reduce conflict in your home. So let's look at what each one is. Tasks. These are the normal things that you do every day. You eat breakfast, you get dressed, you take the dog out, you take the trash out, whatever chores that happen every day in your life. These are the tasks. Now, it happens in every home. Everybody has tasks. Everybody has chores. Everybody should have a responsibility based on their age and their ability. We all deal with tasks every day. Begin now to think about what those are and what the responsibilities are for everyone in your home. It's a part of family life. It's supposed to be a part of family life. Now, these are not problems, but they do take some work and some effort and usually some practice so that we can train children in how to do the task. So they know how to do them and they know what the expectations for the task are. For example, if making the bed is a task in your home, then children need to know how to do that, how it looks, and what the expectations of that are. So tasks are normal in every home. They are not a problem, but they can be. So problems are, here's the definition: what gets in the way of a task getting done. So problem is what gets in the way. That's what comes in between the assignment of the task and the completion of it. So if your child is resisting the task, then there's something else at play. So discovering what that is and handling it well is going to help resolve the problem so the task can get done. And this is where the rubber meets the road and we run into some problems. And often we don't handle well when the problem arises and the task doesn't get done. Maybe the child needs further instruction. Maybe the child doesn't understand the expectations. So I'm trying to give the child a pass here when it comes to not completing a task. Or maybe the child is disobedient and not honoring you. And that's where we run into issues. And so we want to figure out why the task is not getting done. That question why is going to be really important. So Johnny is supposed to be taking out the trash, but Johnny is attached to his device and he's not budging. The task is not getting done. And so the task now not getting done because Johnny's on his device is the problem. Or here's another scenario. You're late for school and your daughter cannot find her backpack because she didn't set it out the night before when she was supposed to do that. And so now it has become a problem because the task was everybody has backpacks ready at the door to go out the door for school. And she didn't do that. So that has now become a problem. So the tasks aren't getting done because there's a problem that gets in the way. Now pause here, because this is where the parent makes a decision. Here's the question I ask you. Are you going to move the problem back down to the task level to get it done? Or are you going to escalate the problem so that it becomes a conflict? There's our choice. That's our dilemma. You have a task, you have a problem, and a conflict. you get to decide whether it's going to de-escalate or escalate. It's a choice we all have. So conflict happens when problems come into contact with your emotions. Let me say that again. Conflict happens when problems come into contact with your emotions, and then they explode. So when the backpack can't be found, you have a choice on how you're going to handle that. Moving it down to a task means that you calmly instruct the daughter to go back to the bedroom or to the den or wherever it was left and get it to the door. So that is a calm way to do it. At a certain point, you will have to address the fact that she wasn't obedient. But at this point, you have to get out the door. So that is the appropriate way to handle it. The inappropriate way that would escalate it to the conflict is when the yelling occurs and arguing and why didn't you and you should have and I can't believe it's happening again and it never gets any better around here and I'll go get it myself and you don't ever do anything right. And do you get the gist of this? It escalates into a problem. Let's say now we have the dad and the situation with the son and the device. So the appropriate way to handle it to de-escalate is dad has to go directly to the son and regain the device because dad is in charge here and there is something that's supposed to be done, and then tells the son he must do the task now. Or it can go south and get escalated into a conflict by dad yelling and screaming, I told you this and you're never going to have that device again and you won't have it for a month and we're never going to have computers again and whatever else. It just all gets inflamed and people don't even mean what they say and they never follow through. But as it has escalated into a major conflict. Well, you then want to handle each problem to get it back down to the task level. Now that's in the moment. At the same time, you are going to need to figure out what is the underlying problem. Is this a one-off situation and it's rare? Or is this a repeated problem? And if it's a repeated problem, then it can't be ignored and it will need to be dealt with, because if a child continually disobeys and ignores or procrastinates, there is an obedience problem and that will need to be dealt with, because an obedience problem is really a character problem. And that's what, above all, we're doing with our children, is we're teaching them character. Parents will need to spend time coaching and training if there is continual disobedience when a task is supposed to be done. Let's keep in mind that life is not problem-free. When tasks are interrupted by problems because tasks aren't being done, then parents often react with surprise and anger as if this should never happen. Well, you know, that's an unusual and an expectation that just can't be met. So instead, parents need to expect them and be prepared to handle them with emotions intact. You know, our goal this day and all days is to move through our tasks without problems. But when they occur, to make sure to focus on getting the task done without having a conflict. We are in charge of those choices. Let's keep this passage of scripture in mind. Ephesians 4, verses 2 and 3. Always be humble and gentle. Be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, binding yourselves together with peace. Hope that's helpful today. Now go about some good parenting.